a man collapses unconscious on a luxury hotel floor. Paramedics rush in. But he's not hurt. He's not sick. He collapsed from sheer disbelief. Moments earlier, a woman he'd driven for 6 months handed him keys to $5.2 million in property and bank account numbers to $3.7 million more. He mumbled the same phrase. "I just drove her car. I just drove her car." This happened, and the story behind it will change how you see integrity forever. David Chen was 42 when he lost everything. Not to gambling, drugs, or bad investments, though you might expect such a story from someone driving a luxury car for wealthy clients. No, David lost everything to circumstances beyond his control, a rare neurological disease that struck his wife, Sarah, in 2019. The medical bills started at $15,000 per month. By 2021, they reached $45,000 monthly. David sold his house, his car, his wedding ring, his father's vintage watch collection. He took 3 jobs, worked 16-hour days, slept in his car to save money for Sarah's treatments. Sarah died on a Tuesday morning in November 2022. David had $23 in his bank account, a $3,000 credit card debt, and a 14-year-old daughter, Emma, who needed braces, school supplies, and the confidence that her dad could provide stability. Elena Vasquez was 38 when she realized she was completely alone. Not lonely, alone. The distinction matters. She'd built a pharmaceutical company from her garage into a billion-dollar empire. But success came with a price tag. Every relationship she'd ever had was transactional. Her college boyfriend dated her for access to her startup funding. Her business partners saw her as a cash cow. Her family members requested loans disguised as birthday wishes. Her marriage lasted 8 months before her husband divorced her, claiming she was emotionally unavailable, which was code for she prioritized business over my shopping habits. After 15 years of building wealth, Elena owned 3 mansions, 2 yachts, a private jet, and investment properties across 4 countries. But she had no one to share it with. No one she could trust. No one who saw her as Elena, not as the money. Their paths crossed on January 3, 2023, when Elena needed a professional driver for her daily commute and errands. David applied through a luxury service agency. Elena interviewed 23 candidates. David got the job not because he had the best credentials, but because he treated Elena's assistant with the same respect he showed Elena herself. Elena's test began accidentally, then became intentional. The first sign came during David's 3rd week of employment. Elena received devastating news during a board meeting. Her company's main competitor had developed a similar drug formula, threatening to destroy her market share overnight. She emerged from the meeting looking shell-shocked, barely able to walk to the car. David noticed immediately. "Rough day, ma'am?" Elena almost snapped at him. Almost. Instead, something in his tone, genuine concern, not curiosity, made her pause. "Very rough day," she admitted. David drove in silence for 5 minutes, then said, "Sometimes the worst days become the best lessons. My wife used to say that. She was usually right." For the first time in years, Elena felt heard without being judged. She found herself talking to David about business pressures, loneliness, and the weight of responsibility. David listened without offering advice, without trying to fix her problems, without suggesting investment opportunities. Week after week, Elena found herself looking forward to these conversations. David never asked for raises, never requested favors, never tried to network through her. He simply drove professionally and listened compassionately. Then Elena made a decision that would cost her $8.9 million and give her something money couldn't buy. She began testing David systematically. Small tests at first, She'd leave her phone unlocked in the car, containing sensitive business information. David never looked. She'd accidentally drop $500 in cash, then watch through security apps to see if David picked it up. He always returned it without comment. The tests escalated. Elena left her laptop open with banking information visible. David never glanced at the screen. She intentionally left jewelry boxes unsecured. David never touched them. She created scenarios where he could easily take advantage of her trust. Every time, David chose integrity. By April 2023, Elena had conducted 47 separate tests. David passed every single one. But Elena still couldn't believe it was real. People always wanted something. Everyone had a price. What was David's game? Elena's ultimate test began on a rainy Tuesday in May. She told David she needed to transport important documents to New York for a crucial business deal. The documents were in a briefcase that appeared to contain contracts and financial records. In reality, it contained $5.2 million in cash, 520 bundles of $100 bills, arranged to look like legal documents. Elena's plan was elaborate. She'd booked David on a cross-country trip, requiring an overnight stay in New York. The briefcase would remain with David during the flight, in the hotel room, and during the entire journey. Elena would monitor him remotely through GPS tracking, hidden cameras in the briefcase, and a network of contacts she'd arranged to watch him. But Elena's plan had a fatal flaw. She underestimated David's character. The flight took 6 hours. David sat in first class, the briefcase between his feet. He didn't touch it unnecessarily. He didn't examine it. He didn't even unzip it when the flight attendant offered to store it in the overhead compartment. "I'll keep it with me," David said politely. "These documents are very important to my employer." In New York, David checked into the hotel Elena had booked. The briefcase stayed locked in the hotel safe. David didn't attempt to access the safe alone. He waited for Elena to arrive, then asked her to open it together so she could retrieve the documents for her meeting. Elena watched David through hotel security cameras. She saw him order room service for one. She saw him call his daughter Emma to wish her good night. She saw him read a book about financial planning for families, clearly hoping to improve his situation through legitimate means, not theft. The meeting went well. Elena secured the business deal. The documents were unnecessary. She'd already won the negotiation through superior preparation. But the briefcase remained in David's possession for the return flight. On the plane back to Phoenix, David sat in the same position, treating the briefcase like it contained nothing more valuable than old magazines. He didn't check it repeatedly. He didn't appear nervous. He didn't seem to think about it at all. Elena flew commercial, sitting inconspicuously 3 rows behind David. She watched him for 6 hours, looking for signs of deception, greed, or calculation. Instead, she saw a tired man who'd worked a long day, grateful for a comfortable flight home to his daughter. The return to Phoenix was uneventful. David drove Elena home, helped her with her luggage, and said goodnight. The briefcase remained in Elena's possession, exactly where it belonged. But Elena couldn't sleep that night. She'd spent $5.2 million on the most elaborate test in history, and it proved something that terrified and thrilled her simultaneously. David Chen was genuinely honest. Not occasionally honest. Not conditionally honest. Completely, absolutely, unfailingly honest. Elena called David to her main office the following Monday. She'd spent the weekend researching him, confirming his story, verifying his character through independent sources. Everything checked out. David Chen was exactly who he appeared to be. A decent man trying to survive difficult circumstances. David arrived early, as always. He waited in the reception area, reading a book about financial literacy, trying to educate himself to improve his economic situation through legitimate means. Elena watched him through her office window, marveling at his dedication despite his circumstances. David, thank you for coming, Elena said as he entered her office. I have something important to discuss with you. David sat down, professional and composed. Of course, Ms. Vasquez. Is everything all right? Elena took a deep breath. Everything is more than all right. In fact, everything is about to change dramatically. She pulled out a tablet showing security footage from the past 6 months. Every test, every interaction, every moment David had chosen integrity over personal gain. David watched in growing amazement as Elena revealed the elaborate testing system she'd constructed. You mean all of it? The phone, the money, the briefcase? You were testing me? Yes, Elena admitted. And you passed every test, not just once but consistently. Month after month, situation after situation, you chose integrity. David felt anger rising. I trusted you. I shared personal information. I treated you like a friend, not just an employer. And you were... what? Researching me? Testing me? Elena nodded, tears forming in her eyes. I'm sorry, David. I was broken. I couldn't trust anyone. I had to know if you were real. What kind of person does something like this? David asked, standing up to leave. The kind of person who's been betrayed so many times she forgot decent people exist. Elena replied quietly. The kind of person who spent $8.9 million to discover that integrity still exists in the world. David paused. Something in Elena's voice stopped him. Genuine vulnerability, not manipulation. Over the next hour, Elena explained her isolation, her fear of relationships, her inability to trust. David shared his struggles, his daughter's needs, his determination to maintain his principles despite desperate circumstances. So what happens now? David asked. Do you have another test? Elena stood up and walked to her safe. She removed a folder containing legal documents. No more tests. Now comes the hard part, learning to trust each other. The documents revealed Elena's plan. She was transferring $3.7 million to David's account immediately. She was purchasing a house for his daughter and him in a good school district. She was funding Emma's college education for the next 8 years, including graduate school. She was establishing a consulting business for David with a guaranteed annual income of $200,000. But there's one condition, Elena added. David tensed. Let me guess, another test? No, Elena smiled. The condition is that you teach me how to be a friend, how to trust, how to care about someone without calculating the return on investment. I have everything money can buy, David, but I want something money can't purchase. I want to learn how to connect with people authentically. The transformation didn't happen overnight. David struggled with guilt about accepting so much money. Elena struggled with feelings of unworthiness about receiving genuine friendship. But slowly they built something neither had experienced in years: authentic human connection. David used his new financial stability to start a foundation helping other drivers escape economic hardship. Elena joined him, contributing her business expertise to create sustainable programs. They worked side by side, not as employer and employee, but as partners committed to helping others. Emma flourished in her new school. Elena became a mentor figure, sharing life experiences and wisdom. Elena's loneliness dissipated as she developed genuine friendships through their charitable work. 6 months later, Elena collapsed in that hotel hallway, not from physical illness, but from emotional overwhelm, when David surprised her with a birthday party organized by people who genuinely cared about her. The $8.9 million test had led to something priceless: a community of people who loved her for who she was, not what she could provide. David and Elena's story proves something profound. Integrity isn't just morally right, it's practically powerful. David's consistent choice to do the right thing, even when no one was watching, opened doors he never imagined possible. Today, their foundation has helped over 3,000 families escape financial crisis through ethical means. David serves on the board of 3 major charities. Elena has learned to trust again, forming genuine relationships based on mutual respect rather than transactional benefit.